Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive into the world of AI security.
This one's going to be exciting, I think.
I think so too. 36 papers.
36, all from today.
From today, January 14th, 2025.
The Security Arc 4, fresh off the press.
So we are
It's a fire hose.
right there in the lab with these researchers.
Absolutely.
Seeing it as it's happening.
It's a live feed of the cutting edge.
So much to cover, but I think we've picked out some really cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. This is,
Deepfakes, smart contracts.
Oh, even a little bit of quantum internet stuff.
A little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
We know you're busy, so we're going to try to give you...
The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff, the key takeaways from each paper.
Without, getting bogged down.
Yeah, we're not going...
All the technical jargon.
No, we're not going to do that to you.
No.
Okay, so let's just jump right in, okay?
Let's do it.
Deepfakes. Always a hot topic.
Yeah, so this first paper is generating and detecting various types of fake image and audio content.
So it's sort of a survey of... Yeah, it lays out the landscape, sort of the state of the art.
And it's kind of mind-blowing. We've gone way past those cheesy face swap apps, right?
Yeah. We're talking GANs now, Generative Adversarial Networks, and diffusion models.
These things can create, really believable fakes.
Oh, absolutely. Have you...
Videos that could fool, even experts.
Yeah, so this is, a big deal, obviously, right?
Huge implications for all of us.
Misinformation, manipulation.
Blackmail, even. It's kind of scary.
Scary stuff. But luckily, the researchers are on it, right?
Yeah, this paper, it goes into the detection methods, too.
Yeah, so it's like a constant arms race.
The fakers get better, the detectors get better.
Yeah, and it really makes you think, right? What can we trust anymore?
Yeah, can we even believe our own eyes and ears at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. Data privacy.
Yeah, big one.
Everyone says, anonymized data is the key, right?
What's the solution? Keep the data useful, but protect privacy.
But this paper, forecasting anonymized electricity load profiles. This is interesting.
Yeah, really interesting case study.
It's about smart meters. They track how much electricity you use.
In real time.
And that data is supposed to be anonymized, right?
Right.
But this paper, it shows that even anonymized data can be vulnerable.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Your smart meter data.
It reveals a lot, right?
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
When you're home, what appliances you use.
Sleep patterns, even.
Yeah, someone could put that together with other publicly available information.
And figure out who you are.
And what you're doing, yeah.
So even if they don't have your name on that data...
Doesn't matter.
It's still a privacy risk.
Big time.
Okay, ready for something a little creepy?
Oh,
AI-powered cyber attacks.
This is where it gets real.
This paper, towards a scalable AI-driven framework for data-independent cyber threat intelligence information extraction, it shows how hackers are using AI.
Oh, yeah, they're on top of this stuff.
It's not some guy in a basement anymore.
No. We're talking sophisticated systems sifting through mountains of data.
Like security reports,
Forums,
open source code.
all of it, looking for vulnerabilities.
So basically, they've given hackers a superpower, right?
I mean, they can find and exploit weaknesses way faster than before.
And that makes them...
Much more dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, for sure.
But the good guys are using AI too, right? For defense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So this next paper, HPACIs, a hierarchical packet attention convolution for intrusion detection system.
Intrusion detection, so that's
trying to catch the bad guys before they get in.
Yeah, and this system, it's not just looking for, known attack patterns.
Oh, it's smarter than that.
It can spot anomalies.
Yeah, anything unusual in the network traffic.
Like having a security guard who can just sense when something's wrong.
Yeah, even if they'd never seen that specific attack before.
So it's like AI versus AI, basically.
It is. It's an arms race, but on a whole new level.
This is making me a little nervous, honestly.
Well, it's a reminder that cybersecurity is more important than ever.
Right. We have to be aware of the threats.
And take steps to protect ourselves.
Both as individuals and...
As organizations, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
We're back, and we've got a lot more to uncover.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting started.
So this next paper, I think a lot of artists are going to be interested in this one.
Has an AI model been trained on your images?
Ooh.
Yeah, it gets right to the heart of, ownership and control in the AI age.
A lot of creators are worried about, their work being used to train these AI models without their permission.
Right, exactly.
And this paper offers a potential solution.
Yeah, it presents a method for determining whether a specific image was part of an AI's training data.
Even if you don't know anything about the model itself.
Right, the inner workings of the model are a black box, but you can still figure out if your image was in there.
So you could find out if your art or your photos were used to train an AI, even if you never gave consent.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, think of the implications for copyright law.
Huge.
Huge. This could be a game changer for how we think about ownership in the digital world.
And it shows that AI can be used to protect, not just to, create.
Absolutely. There are two sides to every coin.
Speaking of protection, let's talk about anti-facial recognition.
Okay, far.
Yeah, we talked about deepfakes earlier, how they can make it hard to tell what's real.
Right.
But AFR is like the opposite.
Yeah, it's about protecting your privacy by making it harder for facial recognition systems to identify you.
It's like a digital disguise for your face.
Right. It helps you blend in.
So this paper, DivTracky versus DinTracker, promoting diversity in anti-facial recognition against dynamic FR strategy.
This one's interesting.
Yes, so what's DinTracker?
So imagine a facial recognition system that's constantly learning, right? It keeps updating its database with new images of its target.
So even if you're using AFR to try to stay hidden,
This DIN tracker can still potentially track you down.
it's like a cat-mouse game.
Yeah, but the researchers behind this paper, they came up with a solution.
Called DivTracky.
Right.
So how does it work?
It basically creates more diverse AFR protections.
So instead of just one way of disguising your face.
You have many, yeah. And it makes it much harder for DIN tracker to accurately identify you.
So it's like throwing a wrench in the gears of the facial recognition system.
Exactly. And the research shows that DivTracky is much more effective than previous AFR methods.
Okay, so let's go from faces to, like, the entire internet.
The quantum internet.
A quantum internet. This is still early days, but it's got the potential to completely change how we communicate.
This paper, Layer-Wise Security Framework and Analysis for the Quantum Internet, it dives into the security challenges.
People always say quantum computers are going to break all our encryption.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
So is the quantum internet, like, inherently insecure?
I mean, no technology is perfectly secure, right? But the quantum internet actually offers some enhanced security features.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all.
But this paper, it emphasizes the need for a layered security approach.
Right, like building a fortress with multiple layers of defense.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can't just rely on one thing.
Now, we've talked a lot about the threats of AI, but let's not forget that it can also be a force for good.
Definitely.
Like this next paper, Detection of AI Deepfake and Fraud in Online Payments, using GAN-based models.
So fighting fire with fire.
Yeah. Using AI to fight AI-generated deepfakes.
Right, they're using GANs, those same generative adversarial networks we talked about earlier.
But this time to detect deepfakes.
In online payment systems, yeah. So they're training these models to spot the differences between real and fake images.
So it's like training a detective to spot a forgery, right?
Exactly. They're learning to look for those subtle clues to give away a deepfake.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
It is. It's like AI can be the hero too.
Okay, now let's talk about something called adversarial attacks.
Oh yeah, these are nasty.
These are attacks that are specifically designed to target AI systems.
Right, to exploit the vulnerabilities of AI and make it mess up.
Like tricking the AI into doing something it shouldn't.
Or misinterpreting information.
To benefit the attacker.
So this paper, MOS attack, a scalable, multi-objective adversarial attack framework.
It's a new framework for crafting these attacks.
Yeah, and it's pretty powerful.
What makes it different?
It uses multiple loss functions.
Loss functions.
It's a way of measuring how far off an AI system is from what it's supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So by using multiple loss functions, this MOS attack can exploit a wider range of vulnerabilities.
It's like attacking the AI from multiple angles.
Yeah, and it's much more effective than previous methods.
So this is a reminder that, AI systems aren't perfect.
They have weaknesses.
And we need to protect them from these kinds of attacks.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing challenge.
Okay, let's talk about LLMs again. Large language models.
Yeah, they keep popping up.
They're powerful, but as we've seen, they can be dangerous too.
Right. In this paper, Exploring and Mitigating Adversarial Manipulation of Voting-Based Leaderboards, it highlights a new vulnerability.
So a lot of these LLM evaluation platforms, they rely on human voting to rank different models.
Like, which model generated the better response?
But this paper shows that those voting systems can be manipulated.
Yeah.
So someone could, rig the system to make their favorite LLM look better than it actually is.
Exactly. Create fake accounts, try to influence real users.
That's not good.
No, it's a problem. But the paper also outlines some ways to mitigate this.
Like bot detection.
Rate limiting, GPTCHAs.
Usual suspects, huh?
Yeah, but it's important, right? We need to make sure these evaluations are fair.
Okay, let's switch gears again to something a little more technical.
Code generation for cryptographic kernels using multi-word modular arithmetic on GPU.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is, but it's actually pretty cool.
So cryptography, that's all about keeping information secret, right?
Right, encrypting and decrypting data.
And it involves a lot of complex math,
Tons of math.
which can be really demanding on computer systems.
Oh, yeah.
So this paper presents a new method for doing those calculations much more efficiently.
On GPUs, yeah.
TPUs, those are like the things that power video games, right?
Yeah, but they're also really good for tasks that require a lot of computational power, like cryptography.
So this could speed up all sorts of applications that rely on cryptography.
Secure communication, data storage, all of that.
Makes sense.
Okay, now let's talk about privacy-preserving machine learning.
Privacy is so important these days, especially with machine learning being used in all these sensitive areas.
Healthcare, finance, you name it.
So this paper, Privacy-Preserving CNN Training with Transfer Learning, Multi-Class Logistic Regression, it offers a solution.
Yeah, a practical solution for training these CNN models without compromising data privacy.
They're using homomorphic encryption, right?
Right, which allows computations to be performed on encrypted data.
So you can train the model without ever actually seeing the data?
Exactly, it's like magic.
But it works.
It does. The research shows that you can achieve high accuracy while still preserving privacy.
That's a big deal.
It is. It opens up a lot of possibilities for using machine learning in sensitive applications.
It's like having your cake and eating it, too.
Exactly. Privacy and utility.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of the benefits of AI for security, but we also need to be mindful of the risks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like we're in this constant race to stay ahead of the curve.
Develop new solutions, but also mitigate the risks of AI itself.
It's a balancing act.
It is.
So, with that in mind, let's look at this next paper, a proposal for a lean and functional delivery versus payment across two blockchains.
Blockchain, always a fun topic.
It's not just about cryptocurrencies anymore.
No. Blockchain has so many potential applications.
Like this one, it's about secure transactions.
Delivery versus payment. So ensuring that both the delivery of goods or services and the payment happen as agreed upon.
Without needing a trusted third party.
Right. Blockchain can handle that.
It makes transactions safer and more efficient.
Absolutely. It's a game changer for sure.
Okay, let's talk about private neural network inference.
Yeah, this is another hot area.
We've talked about fully homomorphic encryption, or FHE, and how it can be used to protect data privacy.
Right, but it could be slow.
So this paper, New Genes, private neural network inference with joint optimization of convolution and FHE bootstrapping.
They're trying to make FHE-based inference much more efficient
So they've come up with a new encoding method.
and optimize the execution flows.
So basically making private machine learning faster and more practical.
Exactly. And they were able to achieve some impressive results.
Like what?
They performed inference on a CNN at the scale of ImageNet. That's a huge data set of images.
All within a few seconds.
Yeah, pretty amazing, right?
That's super fast. Okay, so this next paper is about vulnerability reasoning.
LLM Formon, a unified evaluation framework for decoupling and enhancing LLM's vulnerability reasoning.
So vulnerability reasoning, that's like analyzing code to find security flaws.
Right, it's a crucial part of cybersecurity.
And this paper introduces a new framework for evaluating how well LLMs can do this.
LLM4 Vuln.
So they're testing whether these LLMs can actually understand security vulnerabilities,
Without any extra help, yeah.
like isolating their core reasoning skills.
Right, and they found that some LLMs are better at this than others.
So it's not just about like throwing data at an LLM and hoping for the best.
No, there's more to it than that.
We need to understand how they reason, how they learn.
Okay, now let's talk about something that's been around for a while. Error-correcting codes.
I remember learning about these in school.
They're used to protect data from errors during transmission or storage.
Right, they add redundancy so that errors can be detected and corrected.
But sometimes these codes fail.
And that can lead to data loss.
Yeah, so this paper, estimating the decoding failure rate of binary regular codes using iterative decoding, it presents a new technique for estimating how often these codes might fail.
So it's about understanding the reliability of these codes.
Right, and designing systems that are more robust.
They even applied their technique to a code that's used in a post-quantum crypto system.
Yeah, so this is important for the future of cryptography, when quantum computers become more powerful.
We need to be prepared.
Absolutely. We can't wait until it's too late.
Okay, let's bring it back down to earth a bit.
Yeah.
With a paper that focuses on practical cybersecurity.
AI-enabled system for efficient and effective cyber incident detection and response in cloud environments.
Cloud security is huge these days.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's moving to the cloud.
But it's also a big target for attackers.
Right. Cloud environments can be complex and hard to secure.
So this paper describes a system that uses machine learning to analyze network traffic in the cloud.
Looking for suspicious activity.
Like an AI security guard.
Exactly. Constantly patrolling the cloud.
And it's designed to be efficient and scalable.
So it can handle the huge amount of data generated in the cloud.
And it actually works.
Yeah, they tested it with real-world data, and it was very effective at detecting and responding to incidents.
Okay, let's talk about LLMs and network protocols.
Inferring state machine from the protocol implementation via large language model.
So state machines, those are used to model systems that transition between different states.
Right, based on certain inputs.
And they're used a lot in network protocols.
Which are basically the rules that govern how computers communicate.
So this paper proposes using LLMs to analyze the code that implements a network protocol.
And extract the underlying state machine.
That sounds pretty complicated.
It is. Code can be really hard to understand, even for humans.
But LLMs are getting really good at code analysis.
They are, and the researchers show that their method can effectively infer these state machines.
So this is a valuable tool for security analysts.
Absolutely. It helps them understand how these protocols work.
Okay, let's talk about model stealing.
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
Machine learning models are valuable assets.
A lot of time and resources go into training them.
So if someone can steal your model
They can basically get all that work for free.
and use it to create competing products or services.
Right, so this paper, Model Shield, adaptive and robust watermark against model extraction attack. It introduces a new technique for watermarking these models.
Watermarking, so that's like embedding a secret message or identifier.
Right, like a hidden signature that proves ownership.
So if someone tries to steal your model, you can prove it's yours.
Exactly.
And they've made this watermarking method both adaptive and robust.
So it can be adjusted to the specific model and it's hard to remove.
Clever. Okay, let's talk about security controls.
The bread and butter of cybersecurity.
Those are the measures that organizations put in place to protect your systems and data, right?
Right, firewalls, intrusion detection systems, access control policies, all of that.
So this paper, a formal model of security controls capabilities and its applications to policy refinement and incident management, it introduces a new way of thinking about security controls. Formal models. So that's using math to describe systems.
Right, it allows for more rigorous analysis.
And this model helps organizations understand what their security controls can actually do.
And how to use them more effectively.
So it's like a more structured and systematic approach to security.
Yeah, it takes out some of the guesswork.
We've covered a lot of ground in this part of the deep dive.
A lot. And it's clear that AI is playing a bigger and bigger role in cybersecurity.
Both as a threat and as a solution.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is, but it's also incredibly fascinating.
Absolutely.
And this is just a snapshot of what's happening right now.
The field is constantly evolving.
So we'll be back soon with the final part of our deep dive.
To wrap up our exploration and see what the future holds.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone.
Back for the final round.
We're going to wrap up our exploration of AI security with, I think, some really interesting papers.
Some good ones here, yeah.
Okay, so this first one, it tackles something that's pretty fundamental to the internet.
TLS, transport layer security.
That's the thing that keeps our online transactions safe, right?
Yeah, it encrypts the data, protects it from eavesdropping.
So whenever I see that little padlock icon in my browser...
That's TLS doing its thing.
Exactly. So this paper did link authentication in TLS with decentralized identifiers and verifiable credentials. It's about a new way to handle authentication in TLS.
Yeah, they're proposing the use of DSDs, decentralized identifiers.
DSDs. So that's...
It's a way of identifying entities online, but without relying on those centralized authorities.
like certificate authorities.
Yeah, those can be a single point of failure.
So with DADs, it's more about...
Giving individuals and organizations more control over their own identities.
Interesting.
And the researchers showed that you can actually integrate DIDs into TLS without sacrificing performance.
So it could be a more secure and more decentralized way to do things online.
Potentially, yeah.
It's like reimagining the internet from the ground up.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about graph neural networks.
GNNs.
They were used to analyze relationships between different things, right?
Yeah, like in social networks, financial transactions, even drug discovery.
But like any AI model, they can be stolen.
Copied, yeah.
So this paper, Genie, Watermarking Graph Neural Networks for Link Prediction, it's about protecting GNNs from theft.
Watermarking. Yeah.
So you can embed a secret message or identifier within the model
Like a hidden signature.
to prove ownership.
Exactly.
So if someone tries to steal your GNN, you can say, hey, that's mine.
Right. And the watermark they developed is robust, so it's hard to remove.
Clever. Okay, back to blockchain and smart contracts.
Always a hot topic.
One of the problems with smart contracts is that they can get slow, right?
As they grow larger, yeah.
So this paper, Scalable UTXO Smart Contracts via Fine-Grained Distributed State, it addresses this issue.
Scalability, yeah, it's a big one.
So what's their solution?
They propose distributing the state of the smart contract across multiple UTXOs.
UTXOs, those are...
The unspent transaction outputs, the building blocks of many blockchains.
So it's like breaking down a big contract into smaller pieces.
Yeah, so each piece can be processed more efficiently.
Makes sense. Okay, we've talked about the power of AI, but we also need to talk about privacy.
Always a concern.
Especially with these large language models, LLMs.
They're trained on massive data sets which can contain sensitive information.
And if those LLMs are then used with private data...
There's a risk of leakage.
So this paper, Obfuscatune, Obfuscated Offsite Fine-Tuning and Inference of Proprietary LLMs on Private Datasets, it offers a solution.
A way to use LLMs with sensitive data without compromising privacy.
Tell me more.
They call it Obfuscatune. And it uses a combination of obfuscation and confidential computing.
Obfuscation, so that's like...
Making the model harder to reverse engineer.
And confidential computing.
Ensuring that any computations on the data happen in a secure environment.
So it's like a multi-layered approach to privacy.
Exactly. It's about minimizing the risks.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah, a lot. 36 papers.
36 papers, all from today.
It's amazing how much is happening in this field.
AI is really changing the game when it comes to cybersecurity.
It's a double-edged sword, for sure.
Yet it's also incredibly exciting.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating time to be in this field.
So what does all this mean for everyone listening?
It means staying informed.
Staying aware of the threats.
Being cautious about what you share online.
And remembering that AI is a tool.
It can be used for good or for bad.
It's up to all of us to make sure it's used responsibly.
Absolutely. We all have a role to play.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI security.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned something new and maybe even got a little inspired.
Until next time, stay curious and stay secure.
See you later.